The brutality of ISIS and the ongoing war in Syria have triggered an epic humanitarian crisis, the biggest wave of refugees in modern history.
In Lebanon, Syrian refugees are scattered around the country. The largest concentration lives in tents in camps in the Bekaa Valley. Other refugees find shelter in the capital, Beirut.
When we began to hear about the crisis in the Middle East as a result of the Syrian war, leading to 11 million displaced peoples throughout the region there, many in nearby countries, we as a church sought out how we might respond with the love of Christ and hope of the gospel. And soon we came to realize that God is using war and suffering to lead people out of darkness and into the marvelous light of His Son, Jesus Christ.
As the lead pastor here at Riverstone Church, I am thrilled with how this is strengthening our church as our people. They're getting a much bigger understanding of what God is doing in another part of the world.
I couldn't believe how open they were, how kind everybody was, and so it just was a blessing to be there. It was very different from what I thought it was going to be.
There's a lot of testimonies we heard of dreams and God using miraculous healings in people's lives, and how that is what kind of brought them to an understanding of who Christ is.
Everyone would talk about how God and Jesus would visit them in their dreams, and that's how they would come to faith. And I saw that at work quite often over there.
We heard one man who, his wife, her family came into the house one night. They wanted to take her away from her husband.
They locked themselves in a room, and the both of them saw a blinding great white light open up in the ceiling, and the woman saw a hand come out and touch her on her hand. And when the brothers came back in, she had a cross imprinted on her hand, and she showed it to them and said, "Whatever you take from me, you can never take my faith from me." And they left the house immediately. Talk about sovereign protection and provision.
I've come to understand that being a Christ follower in the Middle East has a high price tag for it. One Christian brother, he had to leave his family because his father tried to shoot him for becoming a follower of Christ.
I saw and met real, live, living examples of people who live with eternity in view. They really have very little resources to do what they do on a day-to-day basis, but they had a profound prayer life. If God wasn't their beginning and their end, then their needs weren't met. I think it was so overwhelming because I don't take my request to God enough. I don't think I'll ever really forget that. And their ministry of prayer life is an example that God is real, He's faithful, and He provides.
I was really blessed by experiencing the unity of God's global church. It was just great to be with somebody in a completely different context than we're used to, and that, our lives have nothing in common except that we have Christ. And I was really blessed to see that.
More Muslims have been coming to Christ than the time of Muhammad till the 2000s combined. And that there's something to be said there and noticed there. And so if that's what the data is telling us, and I want to be a part of it, I want to partner with the Lord and taste some of that revival and awakening that's happening in the Middle East. And I was definitely able to. I experienced a fire in the belly of these fellow brothers and sisters in the Middle East that was contagious. We went there to teach them, but they were really just teaching me.
And I just praise God. Right now in Lebanon, it's a spiritual oasis for our brothers and sisters who are persecuted. God has given the evangelical church the green light to evangelize in Lebanon. And that window of opportunity is open. And I'm just so glad our church understands that and has invested in that part of the world for the sake of the gospel.
It's been an extraordinary privilege to engage in global outreach as a united church body. From our youngest to our eldest and everyone in between, there is an opportunity to serve in some capacity alongside the work of our Middle Eastern family. Whether it be from prayer to giving or going, it has brought our church great joy to stand with our Middle Eastern brothers and sisters in making the Lord's name known among the nations.